So, I think it's good. So jumping into the presentation, today I'm bringing the design culture in a distributed world, and just following, this is me, currently working as a head of design at User-Centrics, a German scale-up, also with an office here in Lisbon, managing design as a whole. My biggest passion in the design process is this facilitation, also the coaching, helping and enabling others. And I really believe in human development, and that's the best part of leadership, which is helping other people discover their career path inside of design and evolving and co-creating that with them. A lot of multiple design experiences along the way, and I'm one of those crazy people that really believes in happiness in life, and I consider myself a happy human, and I try to bring happiness to the lives that I touch, wherever I am. So, if I continue my presentation, this is my personal backstage, and that's the ladies that UX back home, because it's 4 girls, and a husband, and a dog. The dog is also male, because we were trying to get some equity back home. So sometimes this is also me, this is also me, and this is also me, so try to stay with me. And I really like to bring this more human side, because sometimes when we are in these talks and presentations, we are always looking into the front stage of the professional stage that we live in, but we should not forget here and everywhere that we are all humans and that we all have our personal backstage, and we all have our fights and our battles and our priorities also. Those are my priorities. I love design, but that's the best thing I've been designing in this world, and I'm trying to improve it day by day. So how will this go? I will start by the challenge. Why do I think this topic is something relevant to discuss with all of you? Then I will share my work in progress, so it's not abracadabra, and so this is my recipe, my work in progress, my exploration, my experimentation. It's what I'm working, and I will be sharing with you and opening it to discussion. Luckily, afterwards, we will have some ignited talks. This is basically what lack of culture generates when we are working. And we have this lack of sense of purpose, burnout, disconnection. We can't really connect. And I don't know if you ever had the chance to feel it in your skin, but actually I was lucky enough to pass in one company where I felt this inside of a design team. And I was like, oh, what's happening? But aren't we all designers? Shouldn't we be helping each other and growing with each other? So it was also a scaling team, and actually I was not there for more than 4 months and a half, and I decided to leave, and it was the best choice I did back then. Especially before that, I was coming from an amazing design team and an amazing company, so my expectations were also super high, and I was not believing that that was happening. The way I'm bringing this topic is slicing this into these 3 concepts that we have here when we speak about design culture in a distributed world. When I speak about design culture, to be honest, I'm not really speaking only about the design team culture. I'm speaking about bringing this culture to wherever you are, whether it is the city, the company you are working on, but how are you positively contaminating people around you, and what exactly is this? So if we focus in design, especially this is the way that I like to summarize design. When we speak about design, we speak about creative people, which is very different from legal, from development, from other types of professionals and other type of educations. We speak about human-centered. I always say, like, the biggest difference between designers and artists is that designers are normally solving problems for humans and not just doing whatever they feel like doing. So it should be human-centered from the beginning to the end. And it should be iterative in the process, and it should be collaborative with different profiles, with cross-functional teams, and bringing everyone on board on this. it should be focused in solving problems, and it should be experimental. And when I say experimental, I say about it's okay to fail. It's okay. I love this idea. Okay, next. And I love this idea. Okay, next. And it's okay. We don't have to stick with this. And this, I always thought that everyone was like this, until I ended up working in a financial group, which was my previous experience, and I discovered that people are really different, and they really value people like this, and we bring so much value to all the tables where we are sitting in, and it's really reached this positive contamination again that I'm speaking. When we speak about culture, we have like a short description here, and basically I'm focusing in, when I think about culture, I think a lot about this social behavior. And it's much easier to think about culture, especially when we are not distributed. So it's much easier to define it and to work and to evolve on that. But again, it's a particular group of people that believe in ways to be alive and to connect and to act, and it's that no thinking attitude. It's what you do by default, and where are you leading others and involving others. When we speak about distributed, I have these two graphics just to show how, maybe in a more visual way, the difference of having culture like condensed, like having everyone condensed and everyone together and everyone at the same, just like my family when we go and cross the pathways in the street, that's a different kind of culture. But when we are distributed in a network much more broad, and in my previous company I was like distributed between two towers and multiple teams and product teams and communication teams, but now I have like, currently at User-Centrics, we have like the web teams, we have the product teams, the growth teams, and the brand teams, and we have designers in all these teams. We are not together every day. We are not working with each other and receiving like the requests from all the company and then thinking together and just planning it all together. We are distributed in these different teams with different cultures, with different ways of working, with different expectations also. We are also spread over multiple cities. So my previous challenge was distributed in 2 towers in the same city. Now it's distributed in 4 cities at least. And also beyond these different cities, we all have different nationalities. So different cultures, different perceptions, different ways to interpret life. Besides that, we also have a different type of knife for different types of designers. And all these designers are working together with different needs, with different expectations, with different habits and different ways of working. I will try to bring this with me. Again, we are all united by design, and we all do this. No matter if you are working like communication and by graphic design, or graphic design applied to experiences and websites or products or whatever, we all have this in our ways of working. And when we speak about design culture, it's much more powerful, the impact that we can have in the company where we are, if we see it by all the teams that we can touch, different than just a team closed in a silo and contaminating just the ones that are making the requests. So in the end, I still believe that it brings much more value to be distributed and to be in multiple places of the world working together. These are basically like the tools that I've been exploring mostly with this team. I've been cooking them from previous experience, and I will try to bring you all with me along the way. Team Canvas, it's a nice workshop, I will mention it. I think I will go through all these different exercises that we have been doing together, except for the design sprints and the get-together off-site, so I will just high-level touch this. Design sprints is something that I love to facilitate, and especially for innovation and new products, bringing a cross-functional team together. Again, bringing at least 2 people from design, one facilitating, the other participating, then in the next we are inverting, and we are contaminating by doing a lot of different people in these design sprints. So it's super fast-paced, high energy, and super, well, you start with 0, you end with something in the hands of people, so everyone feels super alive, and we have an expert in the house also. So that's something I really love to bring to the companies where I go through, because it's the easiest way to teach design to non-designers. It's to make them going through the process with us and to feel it in their skin, and that's awesome. Get together offsite. So we might be distributed in different teams and in different countries, but we need to come together and be together, and that was like my top #1 priority as I started managing the design for user-centrics is, okay, we need to be together, and we were like 2 weeks ago together in Prague, and it was really powerful to see the difference on the connection and the culture when we are together. Design conference for all, if we have other conference organizers here, we still didn't define where we are allocating our budget for this year, so tips are welcome. But I really want to take all the team together in a design conference. That's something I did in my previous company, and it's super, super inspiring to bring the team together, listening to experts, connecting with people from every different parts of the world, and it's a high energy. Focusing on the rest. Team Canvas, just for the ones that don't know, this is like a generic canvas that's based in the business model canvas, but really focusing in team processes, and everyone can learn how to facilitate and run it. It's very powerful, especially when you have different people collaborating together, like cross-functional teams with engineering, marketing, design, and so on, and you really get to know what are the needs, the expectations, the values, and you start like, oh, so that's why you like to do that. So next time you are just making some connections that will make it easier to collaborate afterwards. Also the strengths, and well, it's very easy and it's available online, everyone can do it. In this team specifically, I made a twist. Basically the rules and action points, I transformed it into a start, stop, continue, and after we went through each other and getting to know each other and what we were all looking for and what were our strengths and our weaknesses and our expectations and needs from each other, we did some compromises in terms of what were the things that we were doing that we should stop doing or continue doing or start doing, since we didn't really have design leadership back then, and we had a lot of things that we needed to start focusing. The values that we see here, it's basically a part of this exercise that then I curated, analyzed it, digested, and together with the team we were discussing it, all the values that we really want. So the company has its values, but us as a design team, I really believe it's super powerful to have a shared agreement of the values. And it's not so much about having the values, but having the discussions shaping the values. Like, the kindness, for instance, it was like a discussion if it should be kindness, if it should be empathy. But then when you are doing these kind of discussions, like philosophic discussions, you are really like, no, it should be kindness because it's a different level from it. So these kind of discussions, it's where you are shaping the basis of the culture that you want to have and aligning and defining the boundaries that you should have or not. It's working. Okay. After the values, we outline like the behaviors that we expect for each value. And for instance, when we were all together, each one of us was verbalizing one value by each time. And this exercise of speaking it out loud, verbalizing it, it really makes us feel more who we are and how are we working together. It's not so much about what are we doing and the deliverables, it's much more about collaboration and defining the culture we are looking for. The design principles on the other side are much more about the work and the design itself. How does it look? How does it feel? What is it? But again, it's just a way to have these healthy discussions, defining and managing the expectations for each and only and every single person in that room and in that team to calibrate and to facilitate healthier and more fair discussions, also in the design critiques that we have afterwards and the feedbacks that we are giving. They are always leading us back to the principles, and it's making it much more connected and expected and connected. This illustration explains the reason why I believe principles and values are helpful in bringing this design culture, because basically it's the underlying of all the action that's happening, and a lot of times by misconception, I believe, or because people don't really study that much, like neuroscience and social behaviors and so on, but we should, because we are all like social humans connecting. Sometimes we don't understand why this and this is happening above the water, but you didn't really invested in understanding what's below. And I'm working in a scale-up. It's a hell of a rhythm, and it's very fast. Well, it basically left. But it's a crazy world, and sometimes you need to put your feet in the door and say, okay, everything is on fire and we need speed, but we really need to work and define this. And this is a decision that we need to take, and we need to put it in the agenda for everyone. So I call it the pies and the goals, and this was an exercise that I was doing individually with with each member of the team, which is basically, how are you feeling physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually? And this was a big surprise in most of the cases. And after that, focusing on the goals in a short-term period or a long-term period, and also an action plan of, okay, for these goals and for those goals, what are the things that you need to start doing today, tomorrow, next month? But before that, we did this, both of us together, and I did it, and I repeated with every single person that I did it, starting by me sharing how I was feeling physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually, and then opening the space for the others to show and share. What I believe this brings, it's a much higher psychological safety, a much higher connectivity with everyone, and this human connection below and above everything that we are doing afterwards, and really humanizing our connections, because I might be part of the team, but yeah, I'm the manager, so sometimes it's like the manager is there. No, the manager is not there. I'm a human, you are a human, we are a team, and we are all doing this ship moving forward, just in different places of the shift. And we really need to understand that, again, we have our front stage, the backstage, and we are all humans working together in the end. And also the goals, like it's really important for them to know what I want to achieve, like what do I want to be in 6 months to a year, or what do I imagine I can be in 5 years. And it's crazy why we don't have these conversations more often with a lot of people. Weekly syncs, so we were having like a 30 minutes, like a kind of a stand-up. So I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Some people were not appearing, you never knew who was joining, and I was like, no, we really need to make this happen. And this was redesigned, and basically we now have like a user journey, let's call it like this Fig Jam board, where everyone before the session shares like snapshots of the work that they are doing, and after we have like a short pitch of sharing everyone's work with a visual sharing, visual thinking, design critique, and again, this needs to happen after we do the rest, to make sure that we have psychological safety, that we trust each other, that we believe each other, and that we are working for common growth in the end, the user experience. Key takeaways. Create rituals for culture. Again, everyone is running, no one has time. Make it happen, and you will discover that we find time when we have to. Define your values and your principles, even if it seems like, it's just values, it's just principles. No, it's not about the values and the principles, it's about the discussions that you have there in an abstract mode that will then foster all the collaboration you have afterwards. Make work more visible and also allow this shared vulnerability. If everyone is sharing what they are doing, everyone is with the same common ground of vulnerability, of having feedback. And this is the first step to increase the connection and the safety for everyone to share, and to then share their thoughts on top of it. Prioritize psychological safety, and this begins as simple as recognizing that we are all humans and we all have our battles, I would say, and also defining the values and the principles. It's again, no, we are based in positive intent. Invest in knowledge sharing, something as simple as, are you searching for courses, for conferences, for articles. So share it, give it. It's a lot about give and receive, everything in life. And this knowledge, it's something that if we are working distributed, we have Slack channels, we have a lot of places, and why aren't we using it to share knowledge and to foster this common growth that we can all have with different people selecting and curating knowledge? So basically, I believe that culture is not something that just happens, it's something that we create, and that we all should have an active voice and responsibility in the culture that we are creating in the world. And we, for the ones that are designers, we are lucky for being designers because it's a much cooler culture. Sorry for the rest. These are some books that I've been reading. And I think it's great books and also super connected with some of the things that we are discussing here. So The Making of a Manager for me was really helpful in this more tech and international environment, and I really like the way super simple that she expresses. The cultural map started immediately with like how to live with a US manager, which is my case. So I was like, oh, this really, I have been listening about this book for so many years. Now it's the moment that it needed to land in my Kindle. And Rituals for Work is actually a super practical book with a lot of team meetings and workshops and exercises to play, with a lot of cool illustrations also that I also recommend. And so the question that I would like to leave to the room is, how are you shaping your design culture, whether you are or not a designer, whether you are or not working with designers or embedded in different kind of teams? I don't believe that culture is something that leaders define. I do believe that we all should lead by example, and I hope you live at least with a bit more conscience that we are all responsible for the culture that we are spreading in this world that we live in. So, thank you. Thank you, Malik, for organizing it all and to inviting.